So here we are, 20 years later, exactly to the date from when Supertones Strike Back came out.
That summer of '97, we toured festivals, and our album came out, and Tooth and Nail was promoting it a lot, and they were saying it was selling really good, and it was like, geez, this is kind of weird. We still live at home, and
I remember the day when Strike Back came out. Unless I'm very much mistaken, we were actually shooting the Supertones Strike Back video. So I was spending the day in a straitjacket in the middle of Los Angeles on a very hot day in an abandoned hospital with no air conditioning.
Suddenly we went from, recording adventures, more kind of locally, to suddenly now we're recording our second album in a studio up in LA and driving up there.
It sold in a week like what our first album sold, period. And I was like, wait, is that right? It sold that many?
Kind of overwhelming. We always thought of ourselves as this little band that couldn't get signed for so many years, and when Strike Back was coming out, all of a sudden it was starting to get recognition everywhere. It was on the radio, it was on TV, on MTV.
Flying to New York, and we're doing some of the live shows that were on MTV at the time, and that was where it was kind of like, wow, that's pretty big. And the fact that our lyrics were so about Jesus was just so surprising that whole season too. There was no toning down. It was Jesus in your face and on MTV.
That summer hit of 1997, and all these festivals that we went to, all of a sudden we went from all these side stages to main stages, and it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
My first memory of Supertones Strike Back, that time when we were touring with you all or just playing with you, was at Cornerstone that year. We had just gotten a new school bus, and it got stuck in the mud, and somehow we put enough stuff under the tires to get it to start moving, and I had just enough momentum driving it that I could have made the road, and Mojo jumped in front of it, and he was like, Reese, wait, stop! I haven't seen your new bus yet. And so it was stuck for 3 more days.
it was mind-blowing. Never thought it would do what it did. Audio Adrenaline asked us to come out on the road, I think, the spring after that, and that was pretty cool. They were this big band, and we were these small-time guys, and for them to have us come out was a cool thing.
We had just released a record that our fans did not like, and you guys just released your biggest record, Supertones Strikes Back, and
Thank
we
God
toured
for
together.
that.
And because you guys were so big and banging, I guess at the moment, is that the right adjective? And you had such a great live show, it made us work extra hard every night.
Oh, yeah.
We had so many injuries on that tour because of the pileup that happened at the end. We did a song together on stage.
I broke 2 ribs, I think, during that pileup.
Yeah, I had 2 different sets of stitches. I know Mojo, remember we were backstage and all of a sudden it just went quiet, and we ran up and Mojo had dislocated his shoulder just by dancing.
Doing one of his hip-hop moves.
Yeah, and I remember Carson, I think he did something to his ankle on one of our pileups at the end of the show. Needless to say, it was one of the greatest tours Audio Adrenaline had ever been a part of.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you guys remember it fondly. It was a good time in Christian music in general.
And it was just a unique season, I think. Just that, kind of the world couldn't get enough ska music, so you were almost right in there with like the No Doubts and some of those other ska bands at the time, and it was just really impactful. And the fact that we didn't have to, or never even really wanted to. In fact, we were the other way. We wanted to be about Jesus, and it wasn't about where can we blur Jesus and maybe it sounds more like a girlfriend or something else. But no, it was really about what can we do to really make it clear that it's about the Lord.
When we reunited back in, I think it was 2010, I think the best part about that for me was hearing all of your stories, all these people coming out of the woodwork and telling all these stories that we never knew, how God used our band to encourage your lives or minister to you, or how the lyrics spoke to you, or something happened at a show. That was one of the coolest things about coming back and doing it again in 2010. that was what really ministered to me, and it just proved that God's still working, and he was working, even though we didn't know he was working.
I can't count the number of people who have come up to me or sent me Facebook messages or found some other way to communicate and said something along the lines of, this album helped me through a really dark time, or I walked away from walking with Jesus for a number of years, and the day I put on this album is the day I decided I was going to start walking with the Lord again. Or some people who said, I didn't grow up knowing the Lord at all, and this was the beginning of my walking with Jesus.